Welcome to J is for Justice podcast. If live breaking news and following true crime is your thing, then please consider subscribing to my channel. And if you like what you see in my videos, please consider giving them a thumbs up. Hey guys, how is everybody? It's late here at J is for Justice, but welcome if you are joining me tonight. It's almost 11 o'clock Eastern. It's really, really late, but I hope you guys liked those photos in the beginning. I think it's important to remember ultimately that a little 5-year-old girl has been gone for 2 months. Yeah, so the interview that I have up right now is actually Voices Behind the Walls interview with Don. And I think that interview was very telling. At least it was to me. And that's why I wanted to kind of play clips from it and just talk it through. So that's what I'm going to do. I already have it all set up clip by clip. Voices behind the drywall. Well, you know what? They were kind enough to allow me to play their clips of their interview so that we can discuss it. But yeah, I mean, this interview actually I thought was probably one of the best besides Chris's. Really, I feel like for once he was just able to just babble. He was just able to babble. I know. It's, you know what? And don't let that sway you. Whoever said that clip of Don is creepy, it does. I mean, he's surrounded by the darkness. You'll see when we start watching it, he is sitting outside. So I'm actually going to blow this up while we watch it. But I think that they did a really good job of not talking over him. I am so guilty of that myself. Like, that's something I really, really, really need to work on, because I tend to get overly excited. And when I ask my guest a question, I tend to try to answer it for them because I'm overly anxious. So that's like a thing of mine that I know I need to work on. And I noticed in them that they did a really good job of not doing that. So I want to give credit where credit is due. And they really let him just kind of talk. And I think it uncovered more things. So let's listen to the first clip.
All right, Chris is going live Sunday evening. I'm not sure what he's going to go over, but it looks like he's going to try and nail down missing time in Candace's story. And that's a big thing on everyone's mind. Yeah. We kind of have a couple hours that are missing.
Okay, so I know that's a really quick stop, but I want you to listen to this again. Okay? I'm just going to replay that part. It's important. Trust me.
But it looks like he's going to try and nail down missing time in Candace's story. And that's a big thing on everyone's mind.
Yeah.
We kind of have a couple hours that are missing. And
See, from what I've been able to figure out, they was just out to get us back, thinking that we called the welfare on them. So we know they called the welfare on us.
And I do want to try and go over the time a little bit better with you, because I believe that's what his plan is. Now, they went to the swim hole. Can we kind of run through that day again from your memory? You got up, you went to work, and then what's a typical day for Candace and the kids? Do they sleep in typically? Do they wake up early? Or what was their morning routine after you had already gone to work? Do you know?
Well, I mean, it depends, on whether it's school or not or not. But, I'm not sure. When I left, everybody was asleep. But I had to go over that timeline with Candace several times. The TBI wanted me to just sit with her and just keep going over it until we could figure out every minute of it.
All right, let's stop right there. TBI had him go over the timeline with Candace several times. Now, did you catch what Mrs. Scher said in the very beginning? She said, we've got a couple hours that aren't making sense here. And, a lot of people are talking about that. And we're going to get to that. We're going to get to the timeline. And I'm going to say this one more time. Please be respectful of anyone's video I'm playing, any creator. They didn't have to let me share this. And because of this, I'm able to have this discussion. So please be respectful of them. You don't have to like everybody, but just be respectful. Okay, so couple hours, and we're going to get to that in just a little bit. But he's going to go over now what the typical, morning would be like for him when he gets up in the morning, and what it would be for Candace.
And we give that to them, and they seemed perfectly satisfied with it, that it made sense, because she had actually left out some things, like doing a load of laundry. Well, doing a load of laundry, and maybe getting a bite to eat and folding clothes and whatever. That probably took up to an hour, So, and just things like that she, when she originally put that out.
All right, I got ahead of myself. I'm sorry. We're going to replay this because I did speed it up because Don talks very, very slow. And I feel like you can get more out of his, he's very dragged out and seems emotionless. But when you hear it sped up a little bit and it's like a normal speed, I think you get more. I get more out of it. But he's saying here,
it sounded like she just threw a load in the
that there were things, and this is going back to the timeline, that he had to go over and over with Candace and recover every minute. Okay, so I want you to listen because it's coming up. Now you gotta be ready for this. So he's talking about all the things that she did that she didn't include the first time that took up time. So I'm coming to this conclusion, like, okay, there was so many hours between the time that Candace got home from dropping off Hunter until she called 911 at 6:29 p.m. So she said she got home from dropping off Hunter, 2:30, 3 o'clock, 3:30, maybe the latest. We have 3:30 to 6:29. There's 3 hours. And all we heard her say was that they planted some flowers and she helped Grandis with her knee brace. Okay. Thank you, Georgia Doggy. So, yeah, we've got about 3 hours there that they planted about, 7 flowers from what she showed Chris. And we never heard, and then she helped her with her knee brace. But we never heard anything about laundry or anything like that. So I'm just going to preface by saying I think they gave the TBI their original timeline. This is just my speculation. They gave the TBI their original timeline, and it didn't jive because there was 3 hours. So I think they were questioned on that, because you'll hear him tell Mr. and Mrs. Scher that They had to go home. The TBI told them to go home and think about this timeline and get back with them. And that was when they sat and came up with the laundry, etc., etc. So I would just wanted to say that previous to us playing it, just so it makes more sense to you guys. So, all right, I'm going to continue playing. I'm actually going to rewind just a tad.
Could figure out every minute of it, and we give that to them, and they seemed perfectly satisfied with it, that it made sense, because she had actually left out some things, like doing a load of laundry. Well, doing a load of laundry, and maybe getting a bite to eat and folding clothes and whatever, that probably took up to an hour, So, and just things like that when she originally put that out there, it sounded like she just threw a load in the washer, but it was a lot more than that. It ended up taking like an hour, but so it was.
Okay. Now, we've all seen their house. They, Candace willingly let Chris McDonough in the house, so we saw the house. Does that look like a home where someone's going to take an hour that she actually folded all the laundry, put it away? I'm just saying, I'm not judging. I'm just saying, by the house that we saw, it didn't look to me like it was organized with folded laundry. I saw clothes strewn everywhere. I didn't see organization like that. So I'm not sure about that whole thing taking an hour. So, all right, I just wanted to kind of throw that out there.
We'll figure out the timeline down pretty well, and I think they seem satisfied with that, and it all makes sense.
Okay, so when she went to the swim hole, you think they left there? You had called them, and were they picking up the prescription, dropping Hunter off, and going home?
Yeah, I don't remember. I just remember her saying that she had a bunch more stuff to do, so I figured I'd just work late, and because the more work I get done, the more I get paid. So I stayed, pretty late until I got that phone call. I don't remember exactly word for word everything that she was saying or what she was doing. I just know she said that she was going to the swim hole until the prescription was ready. But that's the only thing I can remember, about it.
That's the other thing they're pointing out. You had mentioned before, well, since they were still at the swimming and running errands and stuff, and you would just stay and work late since, why would you go home and sit by yourself, right? But some people had pointed out, weren't the three boys at home, so you wouldn't be by yourself, or were the three boys? There's a little bit of issues because I think someone from your church accidentally said they saw the boys at the swim hole that day. What do you think everybody is missing? What's all being said and everything.
Okay, I want to go back to him saying that he was going to work late that day. We have to remember that Candace dropped off Hunter around 2:30ish and got home at 3:30ish at the latest, 3:30. What is he talking about? He's going to work late. Late is 3:30 in the construction business? I don't think so, but okay. So Candace was home at 3:30, but he's saying I decided to work late, and then that's 3 more hours he was still on the job site. So I'm not really understanding that whole thing, and him saying he would just work if no one's home. I get that. Oh, hey, wife and kids are off doing something. I'll get in a couple extra hours of work because they're not at home anyhow. So I don't know. I mean, what his regular days were, but I don't know. Her getting home at 2:30. I don't know. It's just odd to me because he's saying she was going to get the prescription, go to the swimming hole. This is all early. I mean, she took her mom to the doctor or hospital or urgent care or whatever it was at 8:00 a.m. So we're talking they were at the swimming hole early. Right. No. It's coming up to Quinto. He didn't know if he didn't know. He says he doesn't know that the boys are home. So let's keep listening.
What do you think we're all missing here?
I don't know. I don't know, because that's what I'm trying to figure out myself is, you know, what is missing. We know she's gone, and we know somebody took her, but we just can't figure out, who or why or whatever. The only thing that I can do is just run around these streets up here and talk to people all I can. But everybody I talk to, they just don't think that it was somebody from this area at all. But I mean, the dogs that they brought up here, followed her scent to the road and up the road just a little ways before her scent disappeared. And they never could pick up her scent anywhere else, out in the woods or around this property, anywhere.
Okay, now remember that because they did 2 interviews. Now this is the first interview. Remember this for the second interview because this is important. Her scent, what did he just say? Went to the road, correct? Her scent led to the road. I believe that's what he said. But just remember that. Keep that in the backs of your head.
But I mean, the dogs that they brought up here, followed her scent to the road and up the road just a little ways before her scent disappeared. And they never could pick up her scent anywhere else, out in the woods or around this property, anywhere. So that pretty well tells you she was put into a car.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So she was definitely led down the road.
There was a couple people said that the dog followed her scent down your driveway, and then there was a couple people who said that they followed her scent down that dog trail. Do you know which one it was?
I believe it went down the dog trail and up the road just a little ways, probably more like where my driveway was. They're not going to share that information with us. I mean, we have some people that have asked them, and I could probably find out more about that, maybe. But they're not going to share a whole lot of information with us. Mm-hmm. And I probably shouldn't be sharing it with the world. I mean,
Okay, that was a pretty telling comment. Why is he? Why is he? And my question is, okay, this is what I was thinking about as I was putting this together. And maybe you guys can help me because you've seen more than I have out there in groups and things like that. But what kind of dogs did they have following her scent? I don't know tons about dogs. I mean, I know there's cadaver dogs. I know there's, trauma dogs, all this other stuff. But what exactly, because wouldn't Summer's scent already be all over the property, or do they track that last scent? That's what I just don't understand. Dogs from the prison. Yes, he did say that, didn't he, Shell? So were they looking for her last scent, or were they cadaver dogs, which are trained to smell death? Which kind of dog was it? Yeah, Heather Risher. Down the dog trail and a little ways up the road. And that's where the shed is, huh? Tracking dogs and cadaver dogs. So which dog picked up her scent? I know. I just told my husband this. I'm like, we need to go back and listen to Duty Ron. Let me tell you, Duty Ron is going to have probably one of the best interviews when this thing busts open. Because I think that David Rader guy is going to have some stories to tell. All right, let's continue here.
Do you think that this case is tied at all with your sister-in-law that's missing?
We just have no idea because, when she disappeared, they never found a trace of her. Never have. It's been, 11 years now. They haven't found a clue yet. That's pretty sad. But she left behind 3 children that she loved, and there's no way she would, do that voluntarily.
Yeah.
Right.
So we have no idea.
Yeah. And you and Candace, you said, were you guys questioned in that?
I might have made a mistake about that. I said earlier that we were, but there might have been some people ask us some questions about it, but we weren't questioned by the police or anything. We were in Arkansas at the time.
Right. Okay. That's what I thought you told me. But you know how some of these people take things and run with it. So there was rumors that you and Candace were questioned pretty heavily in that case. But from what I did in my own research, I thought you were like in Utah or you said Arkansas. So I knew you were out of state.
Yeah.
I actually think you might have even been in jail at that time, weren't you?
No.
Ouch. He says, no, I wasn't in jail at that time. But all right, I thought it was interesting what he said in the beginning of this was really describing how Rose went missing without a trace. This family has already experienced a family member who went missing without a trace, and they saw no charges against anyone. No clues, nothing. So I don't know. Was there an accident? And did they kind of take that into consideration? This past experience with a missing person. I have never been able to confirm that, Heather. I've never, ever heard that. Exactly, niece. Niece, it's good to see you. I haven't seen you in a long time. Yeah, talk about lightning striking in the same place twice. It's pretty crazy. But if you want, I will rewind that little part because I found that just to be kind of, that's why I clipped it, just was because that beginning part where he talks about just like, he wasn't even there. And I don't know, just the things he says, like he wasn't even in Wisconsin. He was no part of the search and rescue for Rose. He wasn't even in the he was in the picture, but he didn't live there. They were in Arkansas. But he sure talks about like the outcome of that. Let's just listen again. Maybe I'm reaching, I don't know.
You and Candace, you said, were you guys questioned in that?
I might have made a mistake about, do that voluntarily.
That's missing.
We just have no idea because, when she disappeared, they never found a trace of her. Never have. It's been, 11 years now. They haven't found a clue yet. That's pretty sad. But she left behind 3 children that she loved, and there's no way she would, do that voluntarily.
Well, she had 2 kids.
Yeah, and you and Candace, you said, were you guys questioned in that?
I might have made a mistake about that. I said earlier that we were, but there might have been some people ask us some questions about it, but we weren't questioned by the police or anything. We were in Arkansas at the time.
Right. Okay, that's what I thought you told me. But you know how some of these people take things
Yeah.
and run with it. So there was rumors that
Oh, yeah.
you and Candace were questioned pretty heavily in that case. But from
I just want to say that even though they were living in Arkansas at the time, they still could have been questioned about her sister's disappearance. Doesn't matter where you live. Your sister goes missing, pretty sure the authorities are going to speak to you.
what I did in my own research,
No.
I thought you were like in Utah or you said Arkansas. So I knew you were out of state.
Yeah.
I actually think you might have even been in jail at that time, weren't you?
No, I was in Arkansas. It was about the time we was having Josie. Josie's 12 now, so yeah.
Now, do you know what the 40-minute thing is that Chris plans on talking about? Some kind of 40-minute timeline. Let me look here quick.
I think he's just making stuff up because, like I say, we went through the timeline, and TBI seemed to be satisfied with it. And as soon as we found the holes we were looking for, I called him and told him, and he says, "Okay, that makes a lot of sense." Okay.
Wait. The holes that they were looking for. He just gave himself away. There were holes in their story. As soon as they were satisfied with our timeline, as soon as we, filled those holes they were looking for. Oh, Don.
And as soon as we found the holes we were looking for, I called him and told him, and he says, "Okay, that makes a lot of sense." Okay. And he seemed really, happy about it,
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, he says there's a critical 40 minutes that has impacted the missing 5-year-old girl in Tennessee who disappeared on June 15th, 2021. You will not want to miss this. So you don't know the critical 40 minutes he is talking about?
No, not at all. Because
How
we
much you wanna
counted
make
almost for every
Bet
minute.
it's going to be the drive. Your drive from work to home. I bet
The what?
that's going to be the 40 minutes.
Oh, yeah. I wouldn't be surprised about that at all.
I'm pretty sure.
I think I made it home in about 30 minutes. It's a 45-minute drive normally, but I think I made it in probably 30, 35 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, here's another interesting part. I think I made it in 30, 35 minutes. Now, it's not a huge discrepancy, but he does later change that time. And we'll get more to that when we get there. And Patty, yeah, we're doing this because we're doing commentary that goes along with their interview. So welcome to Jay's for Justice, Patty.
Now some people are saying, because now they're trying to say that Candace had these charges out, so now they're looking at kind of Candace as bad again. Unbelievable, right?
Yeah.
Flopping, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Do you think, was there anything out of the ordinary on June 15th at all with your wife or your mother-in-law or anything like that? Or was it just a regular day, do you think?
I believe it was just a regular day, and, as far as we knew, it was a regular day. It turned out to be the most horrible day of my life. But, yeah, because me and Summer were, very, very close. I'll miss her. I wish I could find her, but the reality of it all is just not good.
No, there's
I'd
still
do
a
anything to
chance.
have her back, but yeah.
And
Yeah, I'm
so
starting
grandma
to think
must
she was
not be.
targeted.
Wait, do any of the members of the church
Go ahead.
come by your house to see how you're doing, check up on you?
Yeah, Robin, she comes by quite a bit from time to time. She always calls us, invites us to church outings and whatever that's going on and stuff. But me and Candace, we just.
Okay, so that was an interesting question. Does anybody from church come by and see you guys? Check on you, see how you're doing? We got a Robin does all the time, or then it's time to time, and then she calls and invites us to church functions. So I don't know if he kind of went, It's kind of like he went from big to little. Yeah, Robin, and it's time to time. I don't know. I am too, at a core 21. But he doesn't say that anybody else comes by. David, he was going by there before. We knew that because he interviewed and said he was. He was there the day that she went missing. And it might be Sweet Crazy Brown. It might very well be. But the more he talks, the more that becomes uncovered, in my opinion.
I'm having a really hard time dealing with this. I'm really having a hard time dealing with it. I was just telling my friend down there, I had a little motorcycle there, and I didn't go too fast or nothing, but I put her on the gas tank, and she was actually steering that thing and giving it the gas. But I wasn't going too fast or nothing. I wasn't in no danger. I wasn't risking our lives or anything, but she loved that. I mean, she just loved that so much. And, but I've been riding bikes my whole life. I'm just not an idiot jumping on a bike either, so. But I'm sure all people will hear about that.
What? I'm just not even sure where this convo just went. I don't know. It just sounds like a memorial to me. Like, I don't know. It's more and more. Okay, let's keep going.
Did she like fishing and stuff like that too?
Yeah, her mom always took her fishing and everything. Her mom got to spend a lot of quality time with her. I'm glad she did. All them years I, just worked. Yeah, she got to spend a lot of quality time and take a lot of pictures of her. Thank God for that much. But, yeah.
And that too, that sounds to me like, thank God she got to take all those pictures because we're not going to see her again. Now, to be fair, after 2 months, yeah, the statistics say the odds are that they probably won't see their daughter alive again. But there's more. We're only 11 minutes into a 35-minute clip.
Grandma Candace, she has a good relationship with all of the kids?
Well, yeah, I mean, we've all had our times, or she would try to get them to, well, we all do, try to get kids to do the chores and stuff like that. And they try to, they don't want to do them and stuff like that. You know how that works. But other than that, it's been fine, no problem.
And I did call Ronnie.
Oh, they don't want to do them and stuff like that. You know how that works. But other than that, it's been fine, no problem.
And I did call Ronnie Lawson. He never called back. And
Right.
I don't know what Chris is going to say on Sunday, but we'll be watching. I'm going to assume it's going to be about your drive home, because clearly if you're driving home from work, you don't quite have an alibi for the ride home.
Yeah, because I think there was a little bit of a...
Yeah, it was pretty wild theory there.
Okay, but he would have an alibi for the way home because he said that he spoke to Candace on Messenger the whole way home. And he said that, oh, wow, it was so out of the ordinary. We stayed on the phone the whole time. The whole time. So obviously his messenger would show that he was on a phone call with Candace the whole time, and it would be from 6:29 on. Now, isn't it interesting that they got their phones back, and I did confirm they do have their phones. I didn't think they did, but they do. And he says that they are deleted from 3:30 p.m. on from that day forward. From the day that Summer went missing, 3:30 and on, their phones are not, there's nothing there. There's nothing for Don and Candace to revert back to if they wanted to revert back to their records. Why would that be? Sharon, I do think they have their phones back. Is it possible that investigators would do that so they can't go back to try to keep their story straight? Thank you, Shell. Love you, girl. They were on Messenger, right? They were talking on Messenger call. Everything is in that phone. TBI did a dump on that phone. They have everything. They have times of any Messenger call, any text, any phone call. They have everything. I don't think they got him back the next day, no. Aw, thank you, Red Kim. They most definitely can tell if he was on a Messenger call with Candace, for sure. But they do have other phones as well, which is odd to me. Yeah, they do what's called a celebrate dump, and that just dumps all the digital evidence from their phones. They're going to have everything time-stamped, in order. Yeah, so if they're filling in holes to a timeline after they've been interviewed by TBI, there's a freaking problem here. Okay, because if they weren't being deceitful, there would be no holes to fill. The truth doesn't leave holes, especially holes of a couple hours. Okay, the truth might leave a hole of 10 minutes, but a couple of hours? That doesn't make sense. So these guys filled in the gaps, but guess what? They don't have their phones to go back to try to fill any other gaps in if they're asked about it. See, Cheryl, I disagree with you. My ex-husband worked construction, and he did not work 7 to 3. I mean, we were up north. We got snow in the winter, so when it was summer, they were working until sundown. Because in the wintertime, there would be days they couldn't even work. So I don't believe that. I don't believe it's not like, construction's not like where you punch a time clock. Unless you're like a journeyman working on a, commercial site or something. I just don't believe 3 p.m. is quitting time. And it sounds like he works when he wants. Because he'd be like, well, if they're out and about, I'll just stay and work later. He's his own boss. DeQuinto, Don said he doesn't know what happened to the messages on his phone. They have to tell him what they did. No, they don't have to tell him anything. Unfortunately, they don't have to tell him shit. Right now, everyone's a suspect. They don't have to tell Don anything. And Don doesn't even have a lawyer. And maybe if he had a lawyer, that would be a different story. They gave him the phone back because they dumped everything they needed off of him. They didn't need the phones. And maybe they gave him the phones back so they could see, what kind of communications they do after they get them back. I mean, you never know. Stephanie, if you're being interrogated by the TBI or by the FBI or by law enforcement, everybody should have an attorney. Abso-freaking-lutely. I don't care who you are. No, it's not stealing. They can lie to you during all of your interrogation. I mean, they told Don and Candace they both passed lie detectors. That doesn't mean that they did. They can lie to you. And they do lie. That's how they get people to slip up. They say, you know, I'm not saying in this case, but, you know, they'll tell you you passed the lie detector when you didn't. And then you get all confident thinking, they're not looking at me. Yeah, I don't know about California, but in Michigan and even down here in Florida, when he worked in Florida, it was the same thing. Especially when you're your own boss. You're working whenever. All right, so let's continue.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, fortunately, though,
bit,
you know, I got Jamie's crew. I was working right across the street in the house right across from them, so they knew I was there all day, and I talked with them all the time. But after his crew left, you know, he come over and he talked to me for a good half hour. And then the big boss come by and was making fun of me for using the Subaru to put my drywall tools in, and then it wasn't, I don't know, 30 minutes later, I got the call from Candace, I think.
Yeah. So
I loaded my tools up.
I just wanted to clarify, to your knowledge, has TBI or Hawkins County, have they talked?
It's just really interesting to me that Jamie from the construction site and the big boss both saw him about 30 minutes before the call from Candace. I don't know, man. This is just too much.
Those people who saw you at work that day?
Oh yeah, they've been all over the. Oh yeah, they've questioned all the. I mean, they've been out there in all the subdivisions. Ones I've not even been working in a long time. They've talked to everybody I've ever known out there, and that's all I know because that's all I hang out with is those guys. I work all the time. But yeah, they questioned all of them several times.
Yikes, Don. They're questioning your buddies several times. Oh boy, look at Mrs. Scher's look. Mrs. Scher cannot believe what she just heard. They've questioned his buddies several times. They're going to subdivisions he hasn't worked in a long time. Miss Scher says, oh boy. That don't sound good. Interview him once, but they're talking to everybody. You hear them? They're talking to everybody I worked with. Yikes. I don't think that would make me feel confident.
Been out there in all the subdivisions. Ones I've not even been working in a long time. They've talked to everybody I've ever known out there, and that's all I know because that's all I hang out with is those guys. I work all the time. But yeah, they questioned all of them several times.
I figured, but there are people saying that the police haven't confirmed your alibi or whatever, but they haven't said that they've confirmed anyone's alibi.
Right.
So
she called you first, and
We're all true crime followers. We all know when something like this happens and a child goes missing or a person goes missing, they want to rule out the closest people to that person because the odds are it's someone that person knows. Why haven't they been able to rule out Don or Candace at this point? Is it because there was holes in their story that they filled with laundry that took about an hour? I don't know why, but I can kind of see these two knuckleheads sitting there going, okay, we've got to account for this time. Like, yeah, about an hour. I wash clothes. You know what I'm saying? I can just kind of see it. I don't know. God strike me if I am wrong, but it just feels like this is kind of all coming together. Love, I do too. I think they did a great job with this interview. I love it. It's really, really telling.
And she called 911, and the 911 call is at 6:29. So that means you must have been at work
Right.
still at 6:30, right? And that would be when you quick threw the tools in the car and came home then at 6:30. So you got home
Yeah.
around like 7
Yeah.
o'clock, 7:10. That's going to be
Yeah,
the
probably
40
about
minutes
7.
he's saying. Yep, that's the 40 minutes he's
Yeah.
going to be probably saying. So
Maybe, maybe not. Maybe he's got something
Yeah.
else.
yeah, maybe. Who
Honestly,
knows?
don't even care.
Yeah.
Shouldn't even be watching.
We'll find out. We'll find out.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I don't know how. I mean, we can't. There's no way unless you start recording your drive home from work every day. Like, I don't know what's up with that.
At this point, I don't think it even matters what you do. I mean,
Yeah.
certain people have their mind made up, and you know how hard it is to change someone's mind on
Yeah.
the internet. I mean,
Well, we'll keep praying. We keep hope that Summer is alive out there still somewhere. Do you still have that hope today?
Yeah, just, for all y'all, everyone supporting us, I just please keep your prayers up, and hopefully God will turn this over, and maybe, he'll turn it, hopefully he'll turn it over and she'll be fine.
Hope that Summer is alive out there still somewhere. Do you still have that hope today?
Yeah, just, for all y'all, everyone supporting us, I just please keep your prayers up, and hopefully God will turn this over, and maybe, he'll turn it, hopefully he'll turn it over and she'll be fine, and she'll come back home. Just keep praying, please, and
Okay, I keep going back to the resurrection. Let me know what you guys think. I keep praying that God will turn this over. Then he stutters, and then he's like, I don't know. Maybe she'll be fine, and God will turn this over. I don't know if that's just a word, like a saying he would use, turn this over. I mean, I don't want to seem like I'm nitpicking this dude's, what he's saying, because I was team Don in the beginning. I was like, I got to give this guy the benefit of the doubt. But the more that I'm hearing, this stuff just is not sounding right. I mean, just the holes in the story, that alone, there should be no holes in the truth. No holes. You've got 3 adults there. There should be not one hole in that story. And I have to wonder what those 3 boys had to say when they were interviewed. And, everyone who's saying he looks awful, he does. I could see it. He's grieving. He's grieving, but he can't say it, I don't think. I wanted to too, Tanya. I mean, I really did. I didn't come out the gate bashing them and saying this and that, but the more that I'm watching, I really think, obviously your mind changes the more information you get. Exactly, Anna. And the person who wasn't even home is the only one talking. If there's any comments in the chat bashing these creators, delete them, please, moderators. Because I'm looking down and I'm seeing them, and then it's distracting me from listening to the video. So please don't bash the people that are doing this interview, because they really did a good job. So actually, you should be thanking them for giving us this opportunity to discuss this case a little deeper.
I don't think so. Well, one of my neighbors, his great grandparents owned this property, and I talked to him. And he said there were some, and he's went and looked for them himself and checked stuff out, and he can't find any. But they've searched this property. After the police got done with their searches, they kept sending searchers in and searching this area at least 10, 12 times, over and over and over.
At home, was she?
And that apart too, saying you always knew something was going to happen to Summer. You didn't.
Okay, don't be fooled. They did 2 different interviews. They did a recorded one, and then they did a live follow-up. So the recorded one happened first, and now this is the live follow-up. So don't think he went in and changed and came back out in his Hawaiian shirt. No, different day. Okay, so this is the follow-up to the previous one.
You thought she was going to get abducted or anything like that. Could you like explain what you meant by you always thought something was going to happen?
Yeah, I just always had a feeling deep down. You know, I don't know if an angel was telling me that or letting me know, but I always just had a feeling that something was going to happen to her, you know, and I've told Candace, I don't know how many times, to watch her closely. She's my baby. I love her with all my heart. Please watch her closely. And I just attribute it to God letting me know ahead of time and be ready for something. I just didn't know what it was, you know, until it happened. And then when it happened, you know, of course I knew, you know, that.
You knew something was going to happen to Summer. You didn't mean you thought she was going to get abducted or anything like that. Could you like explain what you meant by you always thought something was going to happen?
Yeah, I just always had a feeling deep down. You know, I don't know if an angel was telling me that or letting me know, but I always just had a feeling that something was going to happen to her, you know, and I've told Candace, I don't know how many times, to watch her closely. She's my baby. I love her with all my heart. Please watch her closely. And I just attribute it to God letting me know ahead of time and be ready for something. I just didn't know what it was, you know, until it happened. And then when it happened.
And then when it happened. The first thing that popped in my head when I heard this, I was laying there watching it last night. First thing that popped in my head was he's warning his wife, keep your eye on her, keep your eye on her. People don't normally just say that generally, like, hey, you better keep an eye on my baby. You know, she's my baby girl. You better keep your... I would think it would be like in a certain situation. Like, let's say they're going to the swimming hole. You would think he would be like, you better keep an eye on her while she's swimming. Something specific. It just sounds like such a weird general thing to say. I have this feeling. What if it was something along the lines of purely speculation here, but we've seen the house and we've seen like the stairs. They're not exactly safe. What if Don said, you know, keep your eye on her when she's around these stairs. Don't let her go up and down these stairs by herself. Something along those lines. And she did go down those stairs by herself. And ultimately something happened. Could that be something like an example like that? I just feel like there's something he warned Candace about. I feel like there's something he has been warning her. Don't let her out of your sight when she's doing something. Or, I don't know. I don't know, Deborah. I don't know.
You know, of course I knew, you know, that you know, that's the only way I can really explain it.
Yeah, so
I think we all do
general
have
sense of something.
Yeah, yeah.
Some people wonder, why do you speak in past tense? If you still think, like, have hope that Summer's alive. Some of us, including myself, like, when I saw you on the news, I noticed that you speak as if Summer's gone. And you see all the comments everyone says, too. But, yeah.
Yeah. You know, I don't know. I can't quite explain all that. You know, I mean, I try to catch myself because I know people are on the guard for that and watching for that, but it's just, I guess, the language I've learned. I don't know. I can't really explain that. There's no, I wish I had an example of a sentence that I might have said. I don't know. I can't think of any right this second. I think a lot of people speak in past tense and not realize it. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
Really
I've actually had I've had some people reach out to me who have actually had missing loved ones or passed on loved ones, and they actually say that it's more common to speak in past tense, so they actually didn't see a problem, and they wanted to let you know that they support you, and sometimes people just read too much into things like that. Oh, I wanted to ask too, have you noticed anything else that went missing, or was it only Summer? I know she didn't have shoes on, but was there anything else? Like if she was to take off, was she missing a teddy bear? Was she missing a toy? Was it just Summer? Was it Summer and a pair of shoes?
It was just Summer missing, as far as we know. But we've had people come up here at night, in the middle of the night, and then steal gas and other odds and ends and stuff. But, we haven't had that problem for a while, as far as we know. But as far as we know, just Summer is missing.
I don't know about you guys, but I think she was getting more or less like, is anything else of Summer's missing? Not, are there gas cans missing? What? I don't know if this guy's just got like a disconnect or what. But is anything else missing? Like a blanket or a toy or a stuffed animal or whatever. Gas cans? And who's going to go to the top of a friggin' mountain to steal? Exactly. It is weird. And I think there is a disconnect, but I think there's also truth in the disconnect. But you know what? You say he has comprehension issues. I don't think Don Wells is as dumb as everyone is saying he is. You'll hear him read a Bible verse. He reads it very fluently and very good. The guy's not dumb. At all. Don't underestimate him.
And she was barefoot?
Yeah. Yeah, because she always went around barefoot. We could put shoes on her and go to town, but she'll kick them off in a car or whatever, It's hot here in Tennessee.
Cher does that exact thing. As soon as we get in the truck, she takes her shoes off.
Yep, I don't like shoes, and my kids all do that also. Yeah, we get in the truck, I'll take my shoes off. So, yeah, I get that. Now, did you guys notice anyone, I know there was the land for sale by you, but was there anything else that was like odd? Maybe people hanging around for maybe a day or two before Summer went missing, or like now thinking back, it's been over 2 months. Is anything else? Oh, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, when that land first went up for sale, there was a lot of people in here looking at that land. There was all kinds of different cars parked down there looking at that particular piece of property. And then, from what I understand, the Dobbs guy, he camped down there. I guess I wasn't even aware of it, but our neighbors made us aware of it. But yeah, there was all kind of people down here that looking at that same piece of property. But I just can't put my finger on who it could possibly be, who took her. I'd do anything if we could figure it out. I'd do anything if we could bring her home. She's the greatest gift I've ever had in my life,
And I don't think he's lying right there. I think he would do anything to bring her home. I really do. But I think the dude's hands are tied. I really do. That he would, I think he's totally telling the truth. I think she was the greatest gift that he was given. Yeah, this is just craziness.
I'll do anything, in this world to get her back. But we're trying everything,
I don't like the but. We would do anything to get her back. But But I'm a mom, I'm a grandma. I can't imagine ever saying that. And I don't want to hear that he's slow. No, he's not. This dude is not dumb.
Do anything, you know, in this world to get her back. But we're trying everything, you know, trying to put anything together we can with, you know, our friends and stuff. That's trying to help us work on this stuff. And
What? What? Who are they getting together with and working on stuff with? I haven't heard of any public thing going on or any kind of group or any kind of like flyer distribution with him and his friends. What? I mean, you guys, if I'm missing something, please let me know. I mean, I could see where they consider the church their friends, their church family. But what are they putting together? I haven't heard of anything that's been put together in the last couple weeks. Or last month. I don't know. He's breaking down, Linda. You're right. Yeah. Yeah. And it just breaks my heart for little Summer. Okay, let's go.
so far, we just haven't come up with anything.
There's some
Yeah.
people that are saying rumors that there was life insurance on Summer. How do
my
you feel
kids to
today
see
the
if,
investigation is going? Does it seem like they're still working on it really hard? Does it kind of seem like it's being forgotten a little bit, or?
Well, it's always seemed like they're just forgetting about the whole thing to me, but I know that they are working it as much as they can.
Okay, I don't know if he's just, out of frustration, feeling like they've forgotten. But wow, Don, I mean, the search for his daughter was bigger than probably most missing kids in this country. I can't believe the amount of resources that went into looking for his little girl. And to say they forgot, is it because they're not contacting him? Maybe that's why he feels like they've forgotten, because he's not getting updates. Jay Gunderson, as far as I know, there was no life insurance. And these peeps, they don't think that they're poor. They're not poor. He inherited that property and that home. Whatever you want to say about the home, it's not complete and it's not safe, but he inherited that. Yeah, if you guys could put their channel name in the chat, that would be cool. I'll put it in the description of the video when I'm done as well. Grandis is supposedly in Illinois. Yeah, I mean, they're not going to give anybody information. Okay, any parent is not going to get information if they haven't been cleared. My question is, why in 2 months have these two not been cleared? I go back to the holes in the story. Tops and tumblers, you talk to Grandis every day? I guess her sister lives in Illinois. She's helping her sister with something. I don't know. I'm sure law enforcement knows where she's at. But yeah, I mean, they haven't ruled anyone out. And they usually rule out the people closest to the person first. And the fact that they haven't been able to rule them out in 2 months makes me wonder why. Well, good. I'm glad, Tops and Tumblers. I hope that Grandis isn't involved as well. I mean, I hope none of these people are involved, but the more he talks, the worse it's looking. And I don't give a damn about these 3 adults' feelings right now. There's a missing girl. I mean, I have compassion for them, but also, I mean, you have this guy sitting here going, yeah, you know, but I wish we could bring her home, but I mean, all of us seem to want this little girl found more than he does at this point. 2 months? You'd have to like sedate me. I don't know. I don't know. They didn't take any trucks. I verified that today. They did not impound any vehicles, as far as I know. Yeah, of course, they want to clear the parents first if there's a kid missing, because then they can start to look elsewhere. They can't look elsewhere because they haven't cleared these 2. That's why you don't see, you know, flyers distributed, because I don't think they think it goes very much further than this. And it's also, I don't know. All right, let's keep playing.
That's why, you know, I want to try to, you know, that's why I wanted to turn to social media and try to get her picture out there as much as possible. I just don't know, you know. I don't think the police know anything. Nobody can figure out anything at this time. But it just seems like, yeah, everybody's given up. We had some people go talk to Allie, and she won't talk about anything. And Chris McDonough told her not to talk to anybody, and things like that. So it's just, there's nothing we can do.
I'm not sure what he's even talking about, because Chris McDonough is not telling Allie not to speak to the authorities. Allie has already talked to them. So has Hunter. They've both talked to authorities. So I don't know what he's saying, like, oh, Chris McDonough told them not to talk to who? The Wells? I don't get it.
Just hope that a good citizen at some point in time sees Summer and helps us get her back. That's the only thing we can hope for, and God will turn it over.
So if you, Don, if you got a miracle, you got a call, and you got this call, and you were told you're getting all the manpower there is on this earth, where do you send them to, Don? Where are we going? Where are we looking? You get all of the manpower on earth, everything, helicopters, dogs, you get everything there is at your fingertips, and you got them for 24 hours. Where are you sending them to?
That I wouldn't have a clue on. I don't know. I mean, because, like I say, the only thing we know is that she was put into a car, and we're pretty sure anyway.
What? I don't even think I caught that the first time.
Send them to, Don? Where are we going? Where are we looking? You get all of the manpower on earth, everything, helicopters, dogs, you get everything there is at your fingertips, and you got them for 24 hours. Where are you sending them to?
That I wouldn't have a clue on. I don't know. I mean, because, like I say, the only thing we know is that she was put into a car, and we're pretty sure anyway, because they couldn't find her scent anywhere around the property except for down to the road. So we're pretty sure she got into a car. She could be anywhere. Things like that. So it's just, there's nothing we can do. Just hope that a good citizen at some point in time sees Summer and helps us get her back. That's the only thing we can hope for, and God will turn it over.
So if you, Don, if you got a miracle, you got a call, and you got this call, and you were told you're getting all the manpower there is on this earth, where do you send them to, Don? Where are we going? Where are we looking? You get all of the manpower on Earth, everything, helicopters, dogs. You get everything there is at your fingertips, and you got them for 24 hours. Where are you sending them to?
That I wouldn't have a clue on. I don't know. I mean, because like I say, the only thing we know is that she was put into a car. And we're pretty sure anyway, because they couldn't find her scent anywhere around the property except for down to the road. So we're pretty sure she got into a car. She could be anywhere. Yeah, in 2 months' time, I mean, she could be anywhere at all.
Do you have any kind of, I guess, an intuition, they would say, that maybe she's in Tennessee still?
Well, after talking to a lot of my neighbors around here, and I plan on talking to a lot more, but after talking to many people around here, you know, if a person from around here were to do something like that, they wouldn't be calling the cops out here. They wouldn't be worrying about no cops. This person wouldn't be able to live in this area or be around this area. And so, I mean, that's just unheard of stuff to a lot of my neighbors around here, and I plan on talking.
I guess it.
Okay, I don't get this part. I don't get this part at all. So maybe you guys can talk me through this.
Intuition, they would say, that maybe she's in Tennessee still?
Well, after talking to a lot of my neighbors around here, and I plan on talking to a lot more, but after talking to many people around here, you know, if a person from around here were to do something like that, they wouldn't be calling the cops out here. They wouldn't be worrying about no cops. This person wouldn't be able to live in this area or be around this area. And so, I mean, that's just unheard of stuff for Beach Street. They do have, yeah, it's rough and they do some things, but that's crossing the line of ethics, you know, or whatever. And a lot of people have told me they just can't see anybody from around this area doing something like that. And I know a lot of people have thought about it for a long time and tried to put it together, and they just can't think of anybody that would do something like this. Which we all could be wrong, but I'm thinking she was targeted off of Facebook or TikTok, and somebody seen her and wanted her or something. We don't know who or what, but I don't think she's in this area, but we're going to keep looking anyway.
Okay, I'm picking up what you guys are laying down about hold on. Yeah, the car, okay? He has always said, you know, that she was abducted. But just, I don't know. This interview is just really telling. So, someone in chat said, I think it was Treese. Treese said that the cops don't go to this area. So I think I appreciate you filling in that gap, because I don't know what this area is really like. If I had to guess, I wouldn't have guessed it was a rough area. I would have guessed it's pretty desolate, and especially where they're at, it seems like you'd be left alone. Lacey, this is from last night.
I'm going to do all I can every evening and talk to people all I can, but we just haven't got a clue.
For people that think you're just doing nothing, you're sitting on your butt, what do you say to them?
Yeah, I wish it was that easy. You know, I try to sleep at night, and
Oh, that was the other thing I wanted to say. The TikTok, Facebook thing. He thinks it's more likely that happened than someone nearby. But weren't they all surprised to find out how many sex offenders lived around them? Are they not talking about those sex offenders anymore because they were all cleared? They're clearing sex offenders in the area, but they're not clearing the parents here. 2 months.
You know, she's on my mind all night long while I'm trying to sleep. When I first wake up, that's the first thing. When I get up to use the bathroom, I beg God, please help me. My baby's not here, you know. And I can't get her out of my mind. I don't want to get her out of my mind, but I'm just scared for her life and everything. She's in my mind always, all day and all night.
Did you,
Yeah.
Gon, do you think that maybe do you think this was planned out, or do you think someone just saw her that day and took her, or do you think this was a plan someone had?
I don't know. It seems to me, like I say, that I think she might have been profiled off of TikTok or something like that. We just don't know right now. There's no way of knowing, you know. I just keep praying that God will reveal all these things as soon as possible. Let us know and help us to find out. That's my biggest prayer, you know.
Was she ever getting bullied or anything on TikTok?
No, nothing like that. No. But Candace did know no better, you know. She thought, you know, her thinking was to put the pictures out there and they'd be there forever, you know, that we can enjoy them forever. That was the only reason she done that, was to be saved, you know.
Yeah.
And but I think, I believe that, she was, yeah. But I think somebody has seen her or something. I don't know. But, you know, we still got things to work out with my coworker too. There's still a lot of her thinking was to put the pictures out there and they'd be there forever, you know, that we can enjoy them forever. That was the only reason she done that, was to be saved, you know. Yeah. And but I think, I believe she was, yeah. But I think somebody has seen her or something. I don't know. But, you know.
Kyle in chat, no, I'm not asking for money for Don Wells. What the mods are putting in chat is support for my channel if you would like to support my channel. Definitely, I'm not raising money for anything in this case. Just wanted to clarify that.
We still got things to work out with my coworker too. There's still a lot of unanswered questions, and he isn't exactly being forthcoming. So we still got problems there.
Okay, this coworker is Dudley, the one that I was talking about in the other live, where I said that someone had sent me Dudley's family members' criminal court docket where it was a drug trafficking that involved a kidnapping. And Donald never got back with me on an email where I could send him these docs. I mean, obviously, you hear from this interview, the TBI is not updating him on things. So he would not have known about this unless he knows that Dudley's family member did this. And it seems that he said he's friends with all of Dudley's family. I've heard him say that before. I don't remember where. But, yeah. The Dudley. So anyways, yeah, he wasn't concerned with that info. I mean, even if he did already have it, that's all he would have had to say. But he didn't say that. He texted me back and he said, "Isn't anything bad?" And I told him what it was. And he didn't give me his email after that. No, I never heard from him again. I don't know if the coworker was cleared. We don't know anything. All we know is what Don has said. That's all we know. That's it. He may have said before that the coworker, I think he did say coworker was involved because I got chewed out. I got chewed out for bringing up the coworker in this past criminal history of the coworker's friend or family member. I got chewed out for that. Don already said, there was people in chat. Don already said the coworker was cleared. He's not involved. I don't think TBI has announced that they cleared anybody. We would have heard it. We would have heard it.
Coworker too. There's still a lot of unanswered questions, and he isn't exactly being forthcoming. So we still got problems there, and so we're going to get to the bottom of that one way or the other. And I hope the law will step in and do something, because it's just, I don't know. There's some things that just ain't matching up.
There was one thing I wanted to ask you, Don.
I went to Utah for like 4 months before Summer disappeared, because I was wanting to move our family out there. I wanted them to see the West and everything. I took. So we still got problems there, and so we're going to get to the bottom of that one way or the other. And I hope the law will step in and do something, because it's just, I don't know. There's some things that just ain't matching up.
There was one thing I wanted to ask you, Don.
I went to Utah for like 4 months before Summer disappeared.
Have you guys heard this before? I'm trying to think of this timeline. So last November of 2020 was when they had the domestic dispute and Don was arrested. Okay, some of you have heard this, some of you haven't. I'd never heard this. I did not know that he was gone for 4 months. Hey, baby D. I didn't know he was gone for 4 months before Summer went missing. So that would put him gone like March, April, May, June, or something like that. Oh, 4 months. I'm confused. Is he saying he was gone last year? Oh, 4 months before the domestic. Last year then. So a year ago. Not just 4 months before June. Okay. Okay, that makes sense. So let's just clear that up. Before he was arrested for the domestic last fall, he had left for 4 months, took his oldest son, and went to Utah. Okay. Cleared that up. Gotcha. Thank you.
Because I was wanting to move our family out there. I wanted them to see the West and everything. I took Josie with me, and we stayed at my dad's house. And
Oh, okay. That's what. See, they're getting things mixed up then.
Bigger than her, but he would never hurt her for nothing.
That's cool.
Sheila says, Don, we love you and we care very much.
Thank you, Sheila.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that.
We have a question. I'm not sure how you say that name. Haiku. How does Dawn know the scent trail? David Radar said her scent went down the driveway to the road. Dawn says it went through the dog trail to the road.
I think that's really important. That's where I'd like to go back and listen to Duty Ron and his interviews with this David Rader. Because I don't know if that's entirely true. I don't know who Haiku is, but I'd like to hear what David Rader says. So my husband and I were talking about, I'm like, we got to watch Duty Ron again.
I'm not sure, to be honest with you. I watched with my own eyes, the officer and the dog go straight down that dog trail. But whether another dog, they've had several dogs up here, not just that one. They even had the prison guard dogs out here. So they had 3, 4. I imagine they had 5 sets of dogs here or more. I don't know. So, but From what I've found out, I mean, I just don't know, to be honest with you. I just watched the one dog go down the dog trail, and according to what he said, you know, it dead ended down there. But the other dogs may have picked something else up, and they're not 100% accurate on everything either. But
No, they're
they
not.
never could pick her scent up anywhere. Yeah, they never could pick her scent up anywhere outside Ben Hill Road down there anywhere. Like, so it's like she definitely got in the car, thrown in a car or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
My
That's what I
neighbors heard some
yeah, the radar say
screams.
too.
Yeah, she was up there outside, you know, just across from us, and she heard some really weird screams before they heard us screaming for Summer, and that still haunts her. She's still haunted by all that, and I think she might have been fighting somebody.
How's Candace holding up?
Car, thrown in a car or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
My
That's what I
neighbors heard some
yeah, the radar say
screams.
too.
Yeah, she was up there outside, you know, just across from us, and she heard some really weird screams before they heard us screaming for Summer, and that still haunts her. She's still haunted by all that, and I think she might have been fighting somebody.
We have to note here that he did not say that the neighbor said it sounded like Summer or that it sounded like a little girl. She said weird screams, and she said that it's haunting her. So weird screams doesn't mean it was Summer. It was very evasive. But the neighbor heard weird screams prior to them calling out for Summer. But we don't know how long prior that she heard the weird screams, but I can guarantee you she's interviewed with TBI and they know what time she heard those weird screams. It's all part of the timeline, folks. It goes right back to the timeline. You can't skew time. And the fact that they were given that they gave the TBI their timeline, and the TBI said, you might want to go home and rethink this. And then they came up with laundry and all this other shiz that she supposedly did all these chores and filled in the holes. Yeah, he does end up saying that. Okay, let's keep going.
How's Candace holding up?
She's doing better.
Oh, good.
She's doing a lot better. But you know, still, we don't get along like we used to. We're really struggling. These dogs are barking at absolutely nothing right now. But you know, still, we don't get along like we used to. We're really struggling. These dogs are barking at absolutely nothing right now.
I don't like that. They're not getting along right now. They're really struggling. I know that it would be stressful as hell to have a child missing. But he's always seemed to be on Candace's side. He's never done any interviews where he seems to be, you know, explaining anything for her. I mean, he's just, you know, said the matter of fact, you know. He's always seemed to believe whatever it is she's told him and gone with that story. I've heard that's very, very false, Jeannie. I heard that is very, very false. That he is holding her back from talking. He is trying to get her to talk. He's trying to get her to talk. Okay, let's continue.
But
Got a lot of high
it ain't the
emotion.
same. It's not. Yeah, it's not ever going to be the same. But
Yeah, for sure.
Why do you think that around your area there's not much? There's people are saying there's no flyers up and no billboards around there.
Yeah, I can attest to that. I was down there this weekend, yes, Friday and Saturday, and the billboards had I had another Amber Alert, which I'm not saying that's not important. It's totally important, but the storefront windows, everything, they didn't have very much in it, and I thought that was sad. And I looked for the place that was handing out the free flyers, but I'm gonna come back down and try to help with that too.
I don't know who this dude is, but I mean, he wants to come back and distribute flyers. He said he didn't see any. I don't know why he wants her to talk, but the person who talks to Grandis, has she said why she left her daughter at this time? I mean, it sounds like for all intents and purposes, Don says he's working every day. So Candace, her boys are taken away. She's just there by herself. And no one's checking on her? No one from the church is coming over during the day to check on her? She's just sitting at... I don't understand. Help me understand. But this guy here, I think he actually called in on one of my panels. He is so willing to do whatever. And he's like, oh, I can second that. You know, they've replaced the billboard with another Amber Alert. Well, I'm pretty sure Robin has a job. I mean, she can't go and sit there. I don't know. I just picture her sitting in that house like, what? And her mom, Lee, I don't know. Her mom had, or her sister had MRSA, so she had to go care for him. I'm pretty sure that Grandis's sister is probably of Medicare age. And Medicare recipients receive home health care 100% paid for by Medicare. I know because I used to be in healthcare sales. So, who would need you more when your 5-year-old daughter's missing? Would your mom's sister who has MRSA and needs some home care need you more? Or would your daughter, who's actually going through the same thing that you went through like 12 years ago, would she need you more? I'm just curious. So the person who talks to Grandis every day, could you ask her that? I would like to know. Because what trumps your granddaughter being missing? Not sure. What trumps your granddaughter being missing? Because in my life, nothing would. Not one damn thing. Okay, grandma is only 60, but I'm sure her sister's in her 60s. I mean, 65 and up, Medicare, dude. Like, even if you don't have money, home care covered 100% by Medicare. And even if it did upset her because of Rose's disappearance, suck it up, Buttercup. There's a 5-year-old that's probably a little more scared than you are. I'm not buying it. Grandis is taking care of a sister's husband who had a heart attack. Okay, still, what trumps your granddaughter being missing? No, Teresa, they're not dying. I'm just putting things in perspective. You've got to prioritize this. You've got to think about where the priorities are. Where are the effing priorities? Where's the flyers? Where's the boots on the ground going in town? You wait for the excuse why there's no flyers. I'm telling you right now. This irritates me. I don't know if it's MRSA or a heart attack, whatever. They're saying it's some kind of health thing. But I never heard that anybody was dying. I mean, this woman's traveling in the middle of a pandemic that's just blowing up again to go take care of someone who had a heart attack. What? Shit don't even make sense. But your granddaughter's missing. Dude, if my granddaughter, I have a 2-year-old granddaughter, and if that precious baby was missing, I wouldn't be able to do shit. It gives me a lump in my throat. She can't do, Tony, she can't do anything for the granddaughter. And a plane will get her back pretty quick. So maybe grandma feels like she can actually be helpful. I guess. To each their own. To each their own.
Yeah, there's some places we go to in which
And no billboard.
Listen to Mr. and Mrs. Share after this Kraken cases, he says his thing. Listen to their response.
Around there.
Yeah, I can attest to that. I was down there this weekend, yes, Friday and Saturday, and the billboards had I had another Amber Alert, which I'm not saying that's not important. It's totally important, but the storefront windows, everything, they didn't have very much in it, and I thought that was sad. And I looked for the place that was handing out the free flyers, but I'm gonna come back down and try to help with that too.
Yeah, there's some places we go to and we try to put her picture up. A lot of places just won't allow it. They don't want all that stuff on their windows.
Okay. First of all, before we address the flyers, you guys, something just popped in my head when I was reading your comments about Grandis. Do you think it's possible? Yeah, I'm being hard on her. Do you think it's possible that because she left around the same time that the boys left, that maybe the authorities got her the F out of there? I mean, just a thought. Because I can't imagine why Grandis would leave. I don't think Grandis didn't love Summer. I mean, I saw a lot of pictures I saw a lot of pictures with Grandis and Summer. But could it be that they told her to get the F out of there? There's a reason why Don and Candace are alone in that house. Just doesn't make sense that her mom would leave. Just because. It just doesn't. I mean, you guys go through Candace's Facebook photos. Every single trip, every outing that she takes those kids to, out in the woods, they're at some damn log cabins. They're in Gatlinburg. They're at the damn swimming hole. That lady is with them every step of the way. I don't know. All right.
Hmm.
I'm gonna.
That's too bad.
That is. Does the
Fuck, I can't
Subaru
talk
have
to you.
GPS, and how long did it take you to get home?
I think. Yeah, I'm sure it's got that Starlink system in it. So yeah, I'm sure it does. Plus, I have my phone on me, and it takes 45 minutes to get from where I was at, but for some reason I didn't hit no. I was able to pass everything, and I didn't hit no traffic jams or get behind no tractors. I didn't have no problem in any way, so I probably made it in 25, 30 minutes to the house.
Oh, you
But,
answered this one.
For some reason, I didn't hit no. I was able to pass everything, and I didn't hit no traffic jams or get behind no tractors. I didn't have no problem in any way, so I probably made it in 25, 30 minutes to the house.
Now that's pretty damn amazing. A drive that normally takes 45 minutes took 30 to 35. Now it's 25 to 30. Who said shut up? Did someone say shut up? I didn't hear that. But yeah, the Subaru does have a GPS tracker, but they never impounded the Subaru. Justice Janney said, I live near Summers area and there's no flyers posted. Well, I just rewound it. Let's see if we hear that again.
They don't want all that stuff on their windows. I'm gonna.
That's too bad.
That is. Does the
Fuck, I can't
Subaru
talk
have GPS, and how long did it take you to get home?
I think. Yeah, I'm sure it's got that Starlink system in it. So yeah, I'm sure it does. Plus, I have my phone on me, and it takes 45 minutes to get from where I was at, but for some reason I didn't hit no. I was able to pass everything, and I didn't hit no traffic jams or get behind no tractors. I didn't have no problem in any way, so I probably made it in 25, 30 minutes to the house.
Oh, you answered this one, but if you have any gut feeling about who might have taken Summer.
I wished I did. I've been going around in the evenings talking to people and stuff, and a couple of guys, have mentioned that they just don't. The people that've been here forever, that they just can't in their minds see anybody from around here taking her. Because here in Beach Creek, that's just an automatic death sentence. You'd be, yeah, if you've done something like that to a little kid around here, you're gonna pay the price.
I would think so.
I mean, there's been a lot of bad stuff going on around here, and there's been several shootings, killings, all kind of stuff. It's a rough area, and but they don't put up with that kind of stuff, from what I understand. And, but yeah, I haven't got a clue. I was talking to a Vietnam veteran earlier, and he was telling me about some places in Mexico.
Tessa, would you mind sending me an email? I would love to hear more about the Beach Creek area. If you would be willing to either share some information with me or maybe come on a live and just give us some, background into this area, that would be really interesting because I don't know anything about this area. Like I said, I look at the mountains and I think, oh my God, they're in the middle of nowhere. It's got to be like desolate as hell. The mods will put it in chat. Thank you, Tessa.
They get kids out of the United States and take them to Mexico, for the sex trade thing or whatever it is. And so it's hard to say. And I talked to another woman. But she done her own investigation. And somehow she's working on Summer's case, but somehow she tracked down her own kid and done a lot of stuff that she wasn't able to do, what she wasn't able to do legally. But she tracked down vehicles and everything and went all the way to Arizona, and she was able to get her kid back and also save 39 others. There was 40 kids in the house. And I have to give her props. She don't want me to mention her name or anything like that. But boy, she done a fantastic job. However she did what she did, I hope and pray she can help us. But boy, she done an awesome job.
You guys, I think the Mexico thing, back when Trump was in office, there was a lot of talk about Mexico and the trafficking and things like that. I think that's what he's going off of. Kyle, you have no business being in here. How about that?
Okay. We got
I
another
just don't know the
question.
first thing about anything. I don't know.
Yeah. Earlier you mentioned that someone heard screams. Would you know where
Yes.
the screams were heard in relation to the house from the neighbor? Like what direction?
Well, we live on a hill, so you go down our driveway to Ben Hill Road. When down on the bottom down there, her driveway's right across from our driveway, and it goes straight up the hill. I mean, if you can see the tree outline from the moon, if you look straight down to the tree outline, her house is just below that tree line. I don't know if you can see it.
No, it's too dark.
Just below the moon is that tree line. Well, her house is up below them trees right there.
Okay, so I did a little map of the neighbor's house that heard the screams versus the Wells house. And the Wells house is over here on the left-hand side where you see it says 110. This is 110 Ben Hill Drive. That's 165 Ben Hill Road, or Ben Hill Road, whatever. They're about 100 feet apart. I know their driveways, if you follow both of their driveways down to Ben Hill Road, their driveways are 72 feet apart. So when you go up their driveways, the Wells house veers off to the left, and the other one veers, and this 165 veers to the right. So they're further apart on the property, but their driveways are 72 feet apart. There's no other neighbors right there. The other neighbors are way further away. This is the only neighbor it could have been. You guys don't have to time out. Just remove comments. Yes, Janine, you're right. So I don't think that's that far away. I mean, this is the middle of the day. People are outside. And this is supposedly the woman who allegedly heard weird screams. Okay, here you have a Google Map directions. We have 110 Ben Hill Road to 165 Ben Hill Road. I know that the neighbor's address is 165 Ben Hill Road. Okay, now. Oh boy. Explain to me, if that's the Wells house, why it looks like this with the neighbor's house of 165. The person who said that was the Wells house, is it still the Wells house? It's labeled wrong? Then where's 165? Because there is a couple who lives at 165. Chris said on a live that Google Maps has the house in the wrong location. Well, the neighbor who heard the screams lives at 165. If this is labeled incorrectly, I don't know. I don't know where 165 would be then. Because if you go here to the map, and let's say we just do the 110 Ben Hill Road, okay? This is where it puts us. The neighbor would be down here. I know there's a neighbor also down here, but if you look, there's all kinds of neighbors, but they're not like over here on Ben Hill Road. They're way over here. Okay. But their driveways come out to Ben Hill Road, correct? So the Wells are up the hill from these people. Okay. 165 is where the Wells house is. 110 is derelict. Okay. That's the property. So I wonder how far that actually is. How can I do that with directions? Can I do that? Can I like do... Oh no, I don't want to do that. Ah. You get what I'm saying? Can I like pin this and say I want to go here with directions? Oh yeah, there we go. So they would literally put on walking. Can I change the route? Like I want to walk through the woods. It won't let me. Anyways, it's taking me around. It's not what I wanted it to do. Well, the 1 minute, yeah, that's taking me. That's not what I want to do. But at any rate, this is 110 feet, but I don't know how steep this mountain is. I mean, look how small that house is down there. That doesn't look very close. You guys are right. If that's the house, if that's the neighbor, that neighbor could have heard screams. Really? I mean, what's around that neighbor? Oh, let's have a look-see-loo. A whole lot of nothing. Holy shit. Wow. So, yeah, someone found her on TikTok and came up here, and even though Google Maps is wrong, still found the house. All right, let's see. We're going to go right by the neighbor's house, it looks like. Oh, I'm on State Highway. I'm on the wrong road. I don't know if it's going to put me there. I'm going to try to drop right in front of their house. Oh, dear God. Is that their house? Stop it. It keeps putting me on this state highway. Is this Beach Creek Road? That is Beach Creek Road. That's where I'm dropping it. All right, let's go back. All right, that's their shed. Which way is the house? $1,600 people here, and I'm trying to do Google Maps. I have no clue what I'm doing. Is this their house? You guys crack me up. Okay, go back. There's a truck for sale. I feel like I need to go back up this road. I feel like that their driveway is down further. You guys, I'm so confused. I gotta go back out because I don't know where I'm at. I'm way off. Look. You guys, that is that house. It's got to be. Unless you can't see it for some reason. But look, that's the only structure right there. No, listen. I'm talking about the neighbor who supposedly heard screams. Y'all said this is their house right here on Beach Creek Road, correct? That's Don's shed? Okay, because I put in 165, which is their neighbor. And this is what came up. I'm so confused. That's Don's freaking shed? Shut up. I did not know that. Okay, here's some houses on Ben Hill. Now, they could have heard screams, I reckon. These people. That is the freaking shed. So this is the shed that he wouldn't let Chris go into? Or Candace wouldn't, I mean? You gotta be kidding me. Oh my God. You guys are saying yes, no, yes, no. They don't own this. Oh, thank God. I thought he owned all of this. I was like, oh, there could be, I mean, there's a camper there. So this is the shed he talks about. He stopped here, he says, before he went home and pulled in the driveway, right? He went to this one before he even went to the house. Thank you, Anna Marie. So he's on his way home. He's racing home. Wait a minute. Wait. Hold up. How in the hell did he get home in 25 minutes on a ride that takes 45 and he stopped at a shed? And he stopped at a shed? I don't care if it's a shed or not. It takes time to stop at a shed. He beat law enforcement there, but he stopped at a shed too? What? No, he said he stopped at a shed before he got to the house. He clearly said that. I don't care where I am. I don't even know where I am right now, you guys. I'm lost in Beach Creek. But what I'm saying is, how did he make it home so quickly if he stopped and looked in a shed? And yeah, I don't care where it is. It still takes time to get out of the truck, open a shed, look in, get in. I mean, is he saying he got to the shed in 25 minutes? I mean, because that every minute counts. Cheryl T, he changed his story on LE. He said that maybe there were 1 or 2 cops there. But then he said he was there first. It's next to the house. I get it. Okay, don't scream at me. I'm doing the best I can here. I'm assuming it's somewhere here by their driveway, right? Because this is their driveway. Some way, shape, or form, there's a driveway here. I'm assuming. Even though we can't see one because the brush is so thick. I'm sorry, I haven't watched the videos of his property. I haven't seen those. Kelly Bennett, after he stopped at the shed, he knew she was gone. He said the boys were by the creek behind the shed. I know, I've heard about the shed. What entrance did he take then? I'm confused on the shed situation. The one I showed? I don't know what you're talking about. The one on Beach Creek Road, you think? The one I showed with the rebel flag? Because there's no shed. Let's go down. Okay, we're going to go down to the corner of Beach Creek and Ben Hill. Okay. And we're going to see what kind of outbuildings are here. Because I'm confused. I'm confused. Yeah, I'm going to have to watch Chris's video. And I will. I'm just, I just like looking for myself. I think it's crazy that we can actually just type in something and see a place. So I like to just look for myself. But I am going to watch his video. So yeah, this is Ben Hill Road, so you can't see shit. Thank you, Jojo. Okay, so then across when you come down Ben Hill, then you have this house here. And then this road. And I can't go down that road. Google was like, yeah, I'm hearing banjos. I ain't going down there. So we'll just give you a little snapshot. So this is what we get. There's some kind of an outbuilding there. Not sure what. They have a nice camper. Okay, let's see. So if we go here, there's a few homes that you pass. The camper was still there when Chris was there. Yeah, so anyways, enough of the Google. I suck at this, and I'm sure if you watch Chris's video, he's got a video of all of this stuff, like you guys said. But boy, it is pretty there, isn't it? Wow. Can you imagine being these people that searched this area? I mean, I can't see a random abduction. I mean, what is this? Where'd it go? Oh, this is that same thing, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, we're right back where we started. Oh my God, Amanda. Thanks, Gritty. I'm thinking this is the shed, you guys. It's got to be. The flag, yeah. Well, I'm sure everybody has those flags there. He sure has a lot of shiz. But yeah, that's clearly, I mean, if he stopped at this shed, that would take more than, 2 seconds. This is it. See, I was there. I was there the first time. Y'all were like, nope, nope. I can't go up the driveway. It won't let me. It won't let me. I can just zoom in. There's multiple barrels. The date on this Google map is, I don't know, 2021. June. Ooh, how creepy. It doesn't say the date, but June of 2021. It says 2021 at the bottom of my screen. It says 2021, dudes. Look. Guys, I'm not joking. Oh, image capture. Shit. This is 2013. The image capture is 2013. Google has not been out there since then. Holy hell. You guys, that was a long ass time ago. Oh shit, I'm not even going to attempt Google Earth tonight. It's too late. But I will see if I can do it before I go live, and then if I can, then we'll do that. But I'm not going to attempt that right now. But man, it is beautiful around there. Okay, let's get back. Let's finish this interview. We're just about done. But I just wanted to pull that up because I was confused on the whole Google placement of their house. I wasn't sure what the deal was with that. So thanks for letting me walk through that.
But so she was
So
up there, and she heard these screams. Her and her daughter heard these screams.
So it makes sense that
But
Summer
know
was
what it
somewhere
was.
between your house and her house at that point.
Yeah, down on Ben Hill Road. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, he just answered our question. Down on Ben Hill Road. So it was one of those homes on Ben Hill Road towards the end of the road. I can't put Google on that road, but it's one of those houses at the end of the road there. And that is, honestly, that is the end of this video that I made. But I did have one more thing here. I did save some clips. I don't know if it's going to work.
And stay on the property or walk me through.
Okay. I do have a couple clips just with this in mind, okay? Being that we just listened to Voices Behind the Walls interview with Don, and I want to thank them for their interview and allowing me to use it. I want to thank them for doing a good job too, because it gave us a lot to talk about. But I did save a couple clips of Chris, and I just want you guys to compare and contrast the things. I know we've been going back and forth in chat. Thank you for the super chat. We've been going back and forth about he said this, he said that. And I just have a few clips that I just wanted to share that kind of go along with some of the questions he was asked in their interview.
That day.
Well, they kind of want me to stay there or whatever, but I'm like, man, you need to let me go question at least the drug dealers that I know of and find out, and let me at least try to figure out something. I can't just sit here and do nothing.
Do you think the drug dealer took her?
Not that I'm aware of. I mean, I've talked to Snow, and he might wheel and deal to keep himself going or whatever like that, but I just don't see him as being that kind of a person, no.
Have you known any kids to be traded for dope?
Never in my life. I've never even heard of anything like that before.
Okay.
I think it'd be interesting to see if one would even do anything like that, because I think most of them tell you that they'd probably beat the hell out of you.
Yeah.
Or, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, so the reason I saved that clip was because I thought it was interesting that immediately when law enforcement got there, he wanted to leave, he says, and go see the drug dealers that he knew of. What? Okay, here's another clip.
He gets all the bad monsters. He takes care of all the bad monsters.
Yeah.
So just,
if they only knew, right? If the
yeah.
little kids only knew.
Yeah.
And So when you pull up and you see Grandma, what was Grandma doing?
Just kind of standing there dumbfounded, if I remember right. You know.
Do you get along with Candace's mom?
I haven't for a long time. We fought for a long time. She's the reason I got arrested and charged the way I did, because she told him I put real bullets in a muzzle loader.
Oh.
And that was 10 years mandatory.
That too, he contradicted in the interview with Voices. He said, and I don't know if I clipped that part, but he said that he didn't know where Grandis was when he got there. Now, that could be from shock. That could be from stress of the moment. So that's not a huge deal. But it's a contradiction nonetheless.
Yes.
Back to Summer for a minute. So when you got to the house, and did you go into the house at any time?
Well, yeah, I went in the house, out of the house. I mean, we was turning everything, looking everywhere. We didn't know what to do, and the police started pulling up, and this and that. And, yeah.
And where did you search?
Pretty much everywhere. In the sheds, the shed right there by the house, all the sheds, everything. Look everywhere. Mostly I screamed at the top of my lungs. So I was like, hey. Yes.
Back to Summer for a minute. So when you got to the house, and did you go into the house at any time?
Well, yeah, I went in the house, out of the house. I mean, we was turning everything, looking everywhere. We didn't know what to do, and the police started pulling up, and this and that. And, yeah.
And where did you search?
Pretty much everywhere. In the sheds, the shed right there by the house, all the sheds, everything. Look everywhere. Mostly I screamed at the top of my lungs. So I was like, hey, for Summer, and, hoping that she was just lost and around there close somewhere.
Right. And then what about in her bedroom and stuff? Did you look down there?
Well, yeah. I mean, Candace went under too, and she looked under everywhere, under everything.
Right.
Candace looked downstairs. He didn't look downstairs. If my kid was missing, my husband said he looked in the basement, I'd look in the basement. I'd look in the basement. I would go to the last place she was seen, right?
She told me,
Right, but that was different than you, though, right? Did you?
Yeah, but I did. Yeah, I looked everywhere also. Yes.
And what about the door?
I don't remember. I do know the boys. We cuss them because they just leave it wide open all the time.
Right.
Man, you got to keep that locked or shut, and they just don't listen.
Right.
Could
Summer open that door?
Probably so. Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
How many times have you seen her open it? If you know.
I don't know, but she's pretty intelligent for her age. She's real intelligent, very smart, very agile.
Yeah, Miss Robbins said that too.
Yeah, she loves to run. I could be running my lawnmower, and she would just run behind me constantly the whole way, nonstop. The boys would be riding their little motorcycles, and she'd be right behind them all the way, over and over around the house, just nonstop. Plenty of energy.
Would she chase them?
Well, she'd just be running behind them, laughing. Right. She wouldn't be, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Like
just having fun.
Like little kids do.
Yeah, she don't even need a bike or motorcycle.
I wanted to talk to you at length and sit down with you. And I knew that there was you couldn't talk about the boys, but I just want to focus on Summer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
if I was wrong, I'm sorry. I just kind of misunderstood some things. I think this miscommunication or whatever. I don't know.
No worries.
Everybody said they thought he was really cool and stuff like that.
What do you? I know you feel that way. So what's brought you to that? Why are you at that?
Well, I knew as soon as I pulled up. As soon as I pulled up, and I didn't get a call back from Candace saying, "Oh, we."
Wait, a call back from Candace? I thought they were on Messenger the whole time.
Found her, and I come all the way out from Jonesboro, and I probably made it in 30 minutes at least, if not faster. But I beat all the police there, and I went straight to the bottom property. I seen everybody looking. I knew she was gone because she don't go away from the house ever.
Yeah.
And so
go ahead.
Yeah, well, I just knew. I knew right then, that very second, that she was gone.
Okay, what inside of you brought that so quickly, brother? Where did you come from on that?
Well, I knew they was looking around the hill and everything up top there, and I drove straight to the bottom there where that little funky shed is there, and I went down the hill by the creek in that little four-wheel drive Subaru. I went straight down there to the creek, and I seen the boys down there, and they know not to travel alone. They was together, and I seen my neighbor walking around, and I knew my heart just sank right there. I just knew it that somebody took her, because he just don't go nowhere. But she would never leave from up at the around the house there. No way.
Yeah, no, I mean, what about the boys? What were they doing when you saw them down there by the shed?
They weren't by the shed. They was down they were, if you look down where the power lines are, you go straight down, they were looking, walking around looking for Summer. And I just knew she was gone. I mean, but trying to tell the police that and everything when they just pulled up, and then they blocked all the roads because I guess they took the time to call in search teams and everything like that, thinking that she was just lost in the woods. And I was trying to tell them she's not lost in the woods. Somebody has taken her. I tried to tell them that, and they never did listen to that.
What was your feeling as to why they weren't listening? What's your gut?
I'm not sure why. I'm not.
Interesting. Interesting. And if anybody wants to know why I'm playing this, it's because we're revisiting all of the different stories. We have a new interview from last night that was on Voices Behind the Wall. We have Chris's interview. I mean, but the first thing he wanted to do was leave to go talk to the drug dealers that he knew. Why the drug dealers? Do drug dealers normally have something to do with kids being missing? Because he said he's never heard of that before. So I'm confused on that.
When you pull up and you see Grandma, what was Grandma doing?
Just kind of standing there dumbfounded, if I remember right.
Do you get along with Candace's mom?
I haven't for a long time. We fought for a long time. She's the reason I got arrested and charged the way I did, because she told him I put real bullets in a muzzle loader. Oh. And that was 10 years mandatory, no bond.
Tell me about that.
Well, when I come back from Utah, I was trying to move my family.
And then what about, now are these all cops or are they search and rescue?
Well, they were mostly police and, volunteers, search and rescue or whatever like that.
Okay.
But I didn't, I probably didn't clarify on the phone, either that she was abducted, because I didn't know at the time. But when I pulled up there, I knew that, she was gone. And maybe I didn't communicate that to them like I should have, or what was, what I felt. Well, I had a few times. I said, she's not here. I come to that conclusion right away. But
and what brought you to that conclusion? That was pretty quick, right? I mean,
just knowing her, and that because we tried to scare the heck out of her and let her know, because we do have bears.
Right. So the dogs. You think maybe the dogs got? What's your thought on why the dogs weren't there?
I don't know where they go, but there's been times.
Well, what time did you get there? Do you remember?
Well, they say, it's really strange, because I thought it was 5:30, but the 911 call says 6:30, 6:26 is when the first call come in. And it could well be. Sometimes I work till sunset, A lot of times I have been here lately, but
Did you hear that? He don't work 7 to 3, people. Sometimes I work till sunset. Sunset is what time? 8? 9? In June, you got the longest day of the year. But working past 3:30 on that day was working late? Confused.
Yeah. But I thought it was 5:30. But the strange thing of it is when we went to the Hawkins County to do our lie detectors and everything like that, they took all of our phones. And then magically, all of our phone records from 3:30 on that day have been deleted.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, me, my wife, and her mother have all been deleted from 3:30 on.
So they had your phones that day then?
Yes, sir.
And when did they give them back to you?
They give them back, fairly quickly, but we never even looked at them until about, a week or two ago. We had some detectives that we talked to, a lot, and they wanted to know exactly this information, and we all looked, and it was all gone.
Oh my God. It's exactly what I said. Did you hear that? They wanted more information. Could that be the holes they wanted filled? And then they looked at their phones and went, uh-oh, we can't go back and reference our texts from that day. We can't look at when we texted Hunter. We can't look at anything past at certain time after they dropped off Hunter. We went back to look. Whoa, everything's gone. Surprise.
Deleted.
Oh, interesting.
Yes.
So what about when you, in your gut, I was watching the news, you on the news channel, and when the reporter asked you, what's your fears and stuff, and what is your thought process about where do you think she is?
Well, at first I thought, it's got to be some sicko hillbilly druggie, drug her out in the woods or something, or somebody put her in her car and took her not too far away or whatever like that. But I'm starting to wonder if it isn't some high-end thing. Maybe somebody's seen her on Facebook, because my wife was always posting stuff on Facebook. It could have been, she could be anywhere. My mind just goes back and forth. I don't have any idea. But I figured kind of that, well, a lot of people are talking about Ann Dudley. I don't know. I've never seen anything like him. I've seen people on I've seen people on meth before, and this was beyond that. He was, I don't know. He showed up one day, and he was running late, and he says, "Oh man, I've been out helping my."
Hello.
And he was running late, and he says, "Oh man, I've been out helping my uncle clear land somewhere, and blah blah blah." And this is a man that I let him in my business and give him 50%, and all he had to do was show up, and he's already given me excuses, But whatever he was on, it was bad because, he wouldn't listen to anything I said. It's hard to explain, but he was just fighting me every inch of the way on everything, and I give in and would let him do. Okay, you want to do that, fine, but he thought that there was all kind of dirt in his mud, and he wanted me to throw it away and get him some new stuff, and he blew up. And he's like, "Man, you put it back in there, what?" He just yelling at me. And then later that day, he's like, "Just go home." He was throwing mud all over the floor, a brand new house, throwing mud all over the floor. And it took him 2 hours to do a 20-minute thing, and he was just so hyper-focused on it. That's a word I picked up off of YouTube about meth, but hyper-focused. I can't remember the rest.
Oh, Lord. He's picking up YouTube terms.
But he was absolutely hyper-focused on this one little thing that took him 2 hours, and he just couldn't get it right. He was frustrated and just going on, and finally he says, "Why don't you just go home? I can handle this house. I just hired this guy like 2 weeks ago."
Right.
So he says, "Go home," and all that, and I'm thinking, wow, this is crazy. So I go to lunch. I come back. I tell him, "Go home. Go home now. Get the hell off this job and don't come back." Well, he got mad, and he tried everything in the world and anything he could to get at me and get me fired. He called my bosses constantly, harassed them constantly, come out on the jobs constantly. If anybody knew where I was at that time, it would have been him. And the day after I fired him is when Summer got gone.
Wait, say that again?
And the day after I fired him is when Summer disappeared.
Oh, interesting.
Yes, and he has tied hands to all out. Well, I've talked to and met here and there. They were out doing all kinds of stuff and drugs. I think there was a drug connection. I was like, I know he's on probation. But yeah, the day after, I forgot where I was going with it. I'm sorry, my mind went blank.
That's all right.
But yeah, they have ties with drywall, I believe, drug connections. And I know that their group was going out and stealing anything with your gun. And I think he's in jail right now. I hope he's still in jail. But we got these detective friends of ours that are looking into all this stuff. They found all kinds of information. They turned it all into TBI. And I don't understand exactly what's going on.
Who do you have?
And I think it's interesting, the person who said he's blamed all these different people, he blamed, or not blamed, but he casted doubt on Allie and Hunter and that whole group. But last night in his interview with Voices Behind the Wall, he said, no, I don't think they did anything to Summer.
Into it.
I could give you their number if you want to call them and talk to them. I'd be honored to do that.
What's their name? What's their name?
Michelle and some friends. But it'd probably be better if I contacted them and give them your number. But I'm trying to bring all this stuff to light because I don't know what police are doing. I don't know what TBI is doing.
Sure.
I know a lot of people talk a big talk, and then they come out here and they're just worried about their own agenda. You know what I'm saying?
He doesn't know what TBI is doing because they're not contacting him at all. I mean, we've all watched a lot of, missing children cases. And even though the police can't give the parents all the information from the investigation or update them or do anything like that, I don't believe they just ignore the parents. I don't know. That's just my thought.
Well, that's what you were saying about me.
Yeah, and if I'm wrong, I apologize to you. Okay.
Well, that's okay. I mean, I don't take anything personal. I
appreciate that.
So I have a question though. Let's go back to the day. Okay.
Yes.
Unpack that day for me. When did you leave for work? And then when the 911 or when you.
I left early that morning. Summer was by my side, and I left for work. And I worked all day, and then I called her at some point. I guess when she was in Walgreens, I says, "Well, what are you doing?" And so she said something about taking them up to the lake or whatever. And I thought, well, hell, I might as well just work late because there's no point in me going home. They're out doing their thing, and just might as well just stay late and do what I can. And then, you know, my boss come by and make fun of me. She's about my car. She said, I was using that brand new car for drywall. Give me a hard time about that. You know, I was talking to her.
Now, you said Summer was by your side. What does that mean?
She was asleep by my side when
I have to wonder, and this is a question, I don't know if anybody knows, but I wonder if his boss comes by every day at the same time. You know, towards the end of the day, maybe to see the progress being made that day. I mean, is this a normal occurrence? In other words, did Don know that his boss would be coming by around that time? That's a question I have.
Okay, got it. And
Yeah,
what time was that approximately?
I'd say about 7,
Okay.
maybe earlier, 6:30 or 7, somewhere in there.
Okay, and
Yeah, she had to be by me. She just had to be by me.
that's her personality.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, she loves me to death. I could say just one harsh word to her and she would break down. I'd have to apologize for it to her 10 times over.
Right.
I mean, it just kills me that she's gone.
Now, I don't know what his relationship was with Summer, but in the last video that I put out, I caught someone saying to Summer, Summer, you scream like that again, and I'm going to nail your ass. And Summer didn't cry. I didn't hear any emotional response from Summer in the car. And they continued videoing after those harsh words were said to her. She didn't flinch. At least she didn't make any verbal emotional response to that.
Her room was right next door to yours, too.
Yeah, and we tried to make her sleep in her own bed, and she'd come to me with big tears in her eyes and say, but Daddy, I want to sleep with you.
Yeah.
I want to be with you. I couldn't say no. I just couldn't.
And how long has she been doing that?
For 5 years.
Wow.
All her life.
Every night?
Yes, sir.
Wow, that's a bond.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow. And so walk me through it. What time do you get up, and what do you remember last about seeing Summer?
All I remember is when I woke up is her feet and her foot being under me, kind of, you know. I remember her being there, and I covered her up a little bit or whatever and left. And she sleeps just right between me and Mom every night, you know.
Right.
But, yeah, I just went to work, normal day. Luckily, you know, I guess that a couple of guys I talked to that day, and the big boss seen me that day, knows where I was. And it wasn't 30 minutes, 40 minutes after Jamie left. We sit there and talk for 30 minutes, just sit there and talk, you know.
Now,
after he left.
Okay.
Jamie's he's another finisher that was working out here.
Got it. So, so you leave the house. What car do you take that day? I forget.
I had the Subaru that day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why didn't you take your truck that day? People are going to ask.
Well, because the car was just sitting there, and I'm paying these payments, you know, $600 a month plus the insurance, you know, and it's just sitting there.
Okay, another question I had. It seems to me that Candace is always running around somewhere with all the kids. Why would the car just be sitting there? I mean, she's out and about a lot. She even said in the interview with Chris that the kids, regarding Hunter, asking her, you know, if they wanted to come over for a little bit, that the kids always ask her to come pick them up. And she said because Allie doesn't do anything. She just sits there. So, I don't know.
I thought, well, I might as well get some use out of it. And I threw all my tools in there and started driving it for a little while, just because, you know.
Yeah. And
you know, mainly,
just because. Yeah, it would seem to me that the Subaru would be a more comfortable ride for Summer, for groceries, for everything that Candace needed to go do.
Yeah.
So you take the truck, or the car. How far away is your job? What are you doing?
It is 45 minutes away in Jonesboro.
All right.
Yeah.
And then, what time do you get there? Do you remember?
I don't. I probably went and had some breakfast, you know, somewhere or whatever, and come out here. I don't remember for sure. No, I don't.
Okay. What time do you call Candace, if you remember? I'm just trying to figure out.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm reading your comments. But Hunter wasn't in the plans. Okay, I get that. But he also said he didn't know that the boys were at home, right? He said later in the Voices interview that he didn't know that the boys were at home. He figured they were with Candace. So, wait, he thought she had all those kids in that truck? And Grandis? Because they have 4 children. 3 boys, Summer, Hunter, and Grandis and Candace in that truck? Oh. Okay.
I'm trying to think. I'd say, maybe 3 o'clock or something like that. Okay. I don't know. I'm not sure of that at all.
And where was she when you called her? Do you know?
So I think she said she was either at Walgreens or headed to the lake, or I can't remember. Okay. But that's why I thought, well, I might as well just stay and work because, that's just what I do. But,
yeah, I mean, so when you got the call, what was the first thing that came to your mind?
Well, she called frantic, panicking, and I said, well, just in case, hang up and call 911. And and I thought it was, for some reason, I thought it was 5:30. To be honest with you, I don't trust police. Okay.
Oh my God, I was muted. So he doesn't trust law enforcement. Probably not a good thing to say to Chris, right? $420 is like a symbol for weed.
And we showed them all that information on our phones because they wanted to know. They wanted to know the timeline. So we showed them right then. When I got there, they wanted to know all that. And they wrote it all down.
And when you got there, do you remember what time you arrived?
I have no idea. I wasn't paying attention. I was on Messenger with Candace as she was driving her mother's truck around looking for her in the area. Okay. So I talked to her the whole way there, and it's really kind of weird that we was able to talk all the way there because normally we don't have a connection like that.
Right.
As soon as it's kind of odd.
And what was she driving?
Her mother's truck.
That the Chevy, the Silverado?
Yeah.
And what was Grandma doing when you showed up?
I don't even know what she was doing. I think talking to the police and probably just standing there looking or whatever. I don't know.
And what were the boys doing?
Looking for Summer. And then once all the police started arriving, they, bottlenecked all the roads. Nobody could move. So they was in a state of confusion and panic. I'd say,
now,
cops in and out.
Was there a car at the bottom of your driveway when you pulled up? Like a
no
cop car or anybody? You just pulled right
There
in?
was nobody there. I was the first one there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yep.
And what about when you got there, what was your first impression of where you should search first?
Well, that's why I drove down to the bottom because I didn't even go to the house. I went straight by that shed on the bottom.
Yeah, is that the one where off the bottom of your property to the
Yes.
Okay.
I got that little dirt road. I went past that. I went straight down that hill, straight to the creek, and that's when I seen my boys. And then I seen my neighbor Don walking to the left side, and the boys were on the other side of the hill. And I knew, like I say, my heart just sank right there. I just knew she was gone.
And what brought you to that place first and not to the house?
Well, I figured they was looking all over the house, but I was thinking, well, they probably ain't been out buying property yet or anything, so that's what made me drive down there first.
Okay.
No.
And then, did you go into that shed?
No.
Is that yours too, by the way, real fast?
Yeah, that's ours. I did. I don't know if I checked it then or later, but I know I did go in there and look. But I'm not sure if it was right then or I might have parked and walked in there and looked real quick. I just don't remember. But once I knew she was gone, I went to the top of the house. Went up the driveway up there.
Well, so why wouldn't you have gone into the shed? I'm curious.
I may have. I just can't be sure on that. Okay. If I did, I went in there, but I'm not sure if I went in there right then or or if I went in there at a later time. I'm not sure.
Okay. And then what? Go ahead. I'm listening.
Well, once the police started arriving and everything, I was like, man, I'm going to go question all these damn drug dealers and everything like that. And, you know, and they reluctantly said, you know, go ahead. I says, I think y'all should put pressure on them and get a list of every person they know. And if it was me, I'd lock them up or whatever, and then start asking questions, but it's not up to me. But
yeah, why would you do that? Why from your
perspective? Because, okay, Ben Hill Road, if you know, I don't want to get him in trouble or nothing, but everybody goes back there looking for pills, meth, or whatever it is they're looking for. You know, and we see all kinds driving back through there. We even see a car coming back there just barely running on 2 cylinders, just everything they got to get back there to ask him if he's got a pill.
All right, you guys. I think that's it. I might have one. Oh, I have one more clip. One more.
When you pull up and you see Grandma, what was Grandma doing?
Just kind of standing there dumbfounded, if I remember right. You know.
Do you get along with Candace's mom?
I haven't for a long time. We fought for a long time. She's the reason I got arrested and charged the way I did, because she told him I put real bullets in a muzzle loader. Oh. And that was 10 years mandatory, no bond.
Tell me about that.
Well, when I come back from Utah, I was trying to move my family to Utah. I've always knew that something was going to happen to Summer. Something in my gut has always told me, and I've always told Candace, watch her closely. That's my baby. Do not let nothing happen to her. I told her that all the time.
What brought you to that thought?
I don't know. I couldn't put my finger on it. I didn't know what it was, or I just always had this feeling that something's going to happen to her. I didn't know if she was just going to get accidentally run over. I didn't know what it was.
Did you think she would be kidnapped?
Never, nothing like that.
Okay.
No, I just knew it was something. I just had this intense love for her, and I think she knew something too. I think something was. I don't know if you believe in guardian angels or what, but it's something. It's something.
So you get back. So walk me through that incident, because I know that was the one that you got arrested, right?
Yeah, well, so I get back from Utah. Candace tells me that she moved a man in the house. She didn't tell me he was gay and all this and that. She wanted me to come back. So, of course, I'm mad. I'm coming across the United States 110 mile an hour average in that little truck. And I got a ticket to prove it. But anyways, he didn't take me to jail. I told him what's going on. He says, he gave me a big break and says, slow down, man. You got to get there alive, you know. But he was really cool. And so I come on and get there, and you know, the first day everything's kind of okay, and then we started drinking a little bit. And Candace had told him I messed around on him one day, which I did. I totally, you know, I regret it. It was the biggest mistake I ever made with her.
Hey, another thought just popped in my head. Do you think it's possible, because Don at first told Chris, oh, there's a gag order, I can't speak. And there really wasn't. He just couldn't talk about the boys. He could talk about Summer all day long. And I just saw a comment by BTS saying he seems squeamish about the TBI not keeping him informed. Seems a little worried about that. And I totally, okay, it goes with.
Messed around on her at one time, but they started jumping on me, her and Candace and him, and I was going to hit.
Wait, hold on. Oh my God. But let me go back to BTS. I'm sorry. Yeah, they're not keeping him up to date on the case. So do you think it's possible that he had a change of heart about talking to Chris in order to feel out the investigator's point of view? Or maybe he thinks Chris is working with the investigators in some way? I don't know. I think it's weird that he had that change of heart.
I had a beer bottle. It was full of beer, but at the last second, I just threw it at the wall.
Is this that Jose guy?
Yeah, and so I had all three of them jumping on me, you know.
Right.
Yeah, the Jose guy, her, and Candace's mother were all jumping on me. And The cops got called. Candace, after I threw that beer bottle at the wall, the cops got called. And that's when her mother's, said, well, he's got a gun in the glove box. I says, well, it's just a muzzle loader. I mean, I'm allowed to have a muzzle loader. And she says, yeah, but he puts real bullets in it.
Oh,
and she's,
Is that how she hurt her knee?
Well, she was pushing me. She kept pushing me. Jose would say something like, I remember the one thing he said is, once a cheater, always a cheater, because his wife left him, or cheated on him, so he's taking out me at this point. And he, every time he would say something, she would push me. He'd go say something else, she'd push me again. I never hit her or nothing, but the last time she pushed me, I pushed her out of the way, and I was going to hit him with that beer bottle, and she fell. I didn't even realize she fell, or I pushed her, whatever. I was just trying to get her out of the way because I was going to nail her. And so, of course, she went and called the cops and told them, hey, she didn't tell them the whole truth.
Yeah, what is that? So, tell me the truth. Because
she said that I was pushing her and hurt her and all this and that, but my intention was just to push her out of the way so I could hit him. I didn't want her, if me and him was going to fight or whatever, I didn't want her right there. But she was acting real funny. Another thing is, too, though, on her behalf, so I was at a party in Utah at my sister's house. Well, I go. That's all she heard. And everything, we straightened it all out. And I'm like, no, that's not at all. I was just trying to get some food and go home.
So
like
she thought you were cheating.
Yeah. So that's how,
And you thought she was cheating.
Right. Well, she wanted me to think that, but she wasn't.
What did Grandma think?
She's never liked me, but I think it's changed now, I think me and her, we get along a little bit better now, but at first we hated each other.
Well, why doesn't she like you, though?
She don't think I'm good enough for her daughter and all this and that.
Oh my God, I was muted again. Grandis drove Jose after all of that to North Carolina. But he doesn't seem to be very concerned with Jose now. I'm using a different mic tonight. It's different. So did Candace tell Don that Jose was gay? Because he said he rushed home from Utah because she had moved a man in. Great, Samsung Blue. We're discussing. So if you don't want to discuss, you can go. So she had moved a man in, which was Jose. And she said that it was Jose and Allie staying there. But Allie lives there, so why would she need to stay there? I don't understand that whole thing. But that's a lot of he said, she said between Allie and Candace. I was just really interested in comparing all the different stories that we've heard in the different interviews. Great, Tops and Tumblers. I don't know about the shaving hair. That's crazy concept. Yeah, I would too, Pamela. Yeah, I don't understand the whole Subaru concept. I don't think that it was a vehicle that was hardly driven because Candace was driving a lot. But don't you remember Candace told that weird story to Chris about Jose telling Allie that he liked chicks with dicks? And then she got mad. That was the weirdest story ever. Do you think that Candace and Allie were fighting over Jose? Yes, just curious, Jinx. Yeah, that's very, very weird. I mean, what a thing to say. Can you imagine even looking Chris McDonough in the face and saying chicks with dicks? I can't. What a weird, weird story. But you know what, you guys, we will continue to follow it. Voices Behind the Wall, I believe, is going to have a video tomorrow or a live or something. So be looking for that, because we're going to have probably more to talk about. LFT, yeah, there's a lot of differences in the different interviews. No, Candace said that, Anna, right to Chris. I thought. Somebody said it to his face. I was like, what? Ooh, so she was saying that Jose called her a butch, pretty much. Oh, Grandma wanted. We don't know that. Okay, you guys, I'm gonna wrap this up. It actually went a lot longer than I expected, but it was interesting, and I appreciate all of you guys chiming in, setting me straight when I have things wrong. But I mean, we're gonna continue following this, and I hope to God that neither one of them have anything to do with the fact that Summer's not at home. I would say in her bed, but apparently she didn't sleep in her bed. But I hope to God that neither one of these people have anything to do with that. And I mean, I want to give any parent the benefit of the doubt. And I think that I have been more than fair. But, with new information comes changing thoughts and changing minds, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I am keeping an open mind overall, but I don't like all this conflicting and just, I don't know, it's crazy. Anyways, been long enough. Thank you guys for being here, and I would say have a good rest of your night, but depending on where you are, I guess, have a good morning. See you guys soon. Take care.